Welcome back to History in Motion, proudly brought to you by Midas. The Seibad Lotus Challenge competitors were revved up and ready for action, with some last-minute adjustments being made before they headed out onto the track. We caught up with the youngest competitor.
I started racing go-karts at the age of 4 in cadets, and then I moved up to GP Juniors. I won Northern Region Karting Club champion at the age of 5. Then in 2011 I stopped racing karts because I didn't have the time to do it because of school. Then when I moved to high school, we bought the Lotus. We started practicing a bit in it for about a year. So last year we started practicing in the car. We started racing in C-Class for the beginning of the year, and I just kept on breaking out. So then we converted the car to a B-Class car, and yeah, that's who we are now, and it's going good. B-Class is definitely the most competitive class, and I think it's probably the best racing to watch because it's so close. It was challenging and nerve-wracking at first being the youngest driver, because it's really intimidating being with all these old guys that have much more experience compared to me. And yeah, but now it's quite a joy actually to race against them and show them how it's done. My main competitor right now I think is Sean Hewitt. We're kind of in the top, like in the front pack, but we're just behind them. And maybe Neil Delata, yeah.
Suppose we always enjoy racing here in the Free State. It's a superb track. It's a track that rewards an awful lot of bravery. Off the back straight, those corners seem very, very quick every time we go around them. Superb place to come and race. It's the overall championship. I think Andre Duplessis is sitting pretty comfortable in his Class L car. For B, Rob and I are darn close. He has a bit of momentum winning the races at Swakop's, about 0.8 of a second ahead of me in qualifying here today. So I'm hoping to find a little bit more speed, but there's no doubt it's going to be very, very close racing up front. Glenn Clark taking a pole position, then Rob, myself, Sean Hewitt, his best ever qualifying performance, qualifying just in behind me. There's probably going to be 5 or 6 of us very tightly packed at the front. Conditions very, very windy, which is interesting not only because in an open car your head's getting bashed left and right as you go down the straight, but also we'll be able to draft. So the person going down the back straight in front at the beginning of the back straight may well not be the person in front at the end of the back straight. It's going to be excellent.
Leading the field off the start for some excellent racing, it's Glenn Clark with Rob Gearing beside him. The top 7 positions on the grid separated by just over 2 seconds. Johan Moret is the fastest of the Class C cars, starting 12th on the grid.
Well, your coverage of Swartkops was so exciting that I thought maybe I would be a spectator. No, I broke my gearboxes, so I'm off the grid. 2 race meetings at Pekisa, I've managed 2 corners. But anyway, great racing prospect. I think the guys are very tight at the front. It's going to be a super, super race. And yeah, second prize is watching. First prize is always racing, but second prize today, I'm watching. Glenn or Sean are looking pretty feisty. This is going to be great between them, and Jeff's going to keep them honest, as will Rob. I think Glenn Clark today.
Well, that is James's tip for the win. As the lights go out, let's see how the action unfolds on the track. Off the start and towards turn 1, it's Rob Gearing who has got a fantastic start, and he will lead the field through the first corner. Sean Hewitt has moved alongside Glenn Clark and is challenging down the inside. Connor Jones up to 5th place follows Etienne Stradom through the first corner. Heading towards turn 2, and Hewitt has another look at Clark but pulls back in. Stradom pulls out and alongside Hewitt as they make their way through turn 2. Side by side they run, but Hewitt holds the position as they come through turn 3. Jeff Gable pushing hard, looks down the inside of Connor Jones. Further back, the drivers are jostling for position all the way through the field. Johan Nels applying pressure to Jonathan Clamp as the pair head through turn 3 and on to the boot. Clamp passing Rob Mordaunt. Johan Nel follows Clamp through and has a brief look down the inside of the red and white car. He's not successful this time. Coming up to Nchini 2, and Jeff Gable has come down the inside of Connor Jones and made the pass. Jones runs wide on the exit and loses more ground to the Blue Birkin. Finger up, he signals for Chris Woolley to pass as he recovers from his off down the back straight. The battle for second has really got going with 4 cars jostling for position. Jeff Gable runs alongside Glenn Clark with Sean Hewitt and Etienne Stradom side by side behind them. Through turn 9, the battle rages on. Gable edges ahead of Clark and Hewitt makes a challenge on the pole sitter. He can't find a way past Clark yet. Connor Jones, meanwhile, has regained his composure, and he passes Chris Woolley, retaking his position and looking to join in on the battle for second, as Sean Hewitt runs wide in front of him. Into the final turn, and Hewitt has lost his position to Stradom. He's hanging onto his bumper, though, and I have a feeling this battle has just begun. Through turn 2 and on to turn 3, it's Mark Futcher ahead of Rob Mordaunt and Andre Duplessis. Great battle developing. Ahead of them, Johan Nel is pushing hard, looking for a way past Andre Darfel. Here's the inside line through the right-hander, and side by side they run into the boot. Neither driver giving an inch, but it looks like Nel has managed to edge an advantage. Coming down the back straight, and Darfel pulls out of the slipstream and has a look down the inside of Nel. Through the right-hander, and Darfel regains his position ahead of Nel. Johan Nel tries to fight back, but he's not able to close up on Darfel again. Coming into Hillscorp, and Nel is now coming under pressure from Jonathan Clamp. There's no room for error here. Andre Darfel is slowing, and Johan Nel retakes the position. Etienne Stradom currently leads the battle for third place. Glenn Clark is hanging onto his bumper, and Sean Hewitt is not far behind, with Connor Jones hanging onto his bumper. Onto the back straight, and Clark pulls out and alongside Stradom, challenging for the final step on the podium. Connor Jones makes the same move on Sean Hewitt. 2 by 2, the cars make their way down to turn 9. Great racing, and there really is nothing between these 4 cars as they make their way through the series of right-handers. Coming towards Hillscorp, and Stradom has managed to hold on to third ahead of Clark. Jones and Hewitt are still side by side. At the boot, it looks like Andre Darfel and Willy Lochman have had a coming together. A lot of damage to Lochman's car as he retires it in the gravel. Andre Darfel getting his car going again and is able to continue with his race, but it's the end of the day for Lochman. Johan Powell comes into the boot and he passes the stranded Willy Lochman, who's getting himself out of his car. Through turn 9, and Sean Hewitt has decided to do a bit of off-road racing as he bounces his way through the gravel. Luckily, he is able to find his way back onto the track and has only dropped 1 position to Connor Jones. Chris Woolley will be looking for a way past, though. Andre Duplessis leads Mark Futcher through turn 9, and behind Futcher, Johan Moraes spins his Westfield all by himself. A bit of fiddling with the controls as he tries to get the car going again. Philip Adicott passes, and you can see the marshals have come to the rescue, and they're giving Morais a push start to get him back into the action. Coming through turn 2, and in the Class L battle, Johan Powell makes his move on Juan de Toy. Side by side, the pair run down to turn 3. Powell on the outside will have to work hard if he's going to take the position. De Toy has the inside line and stays ahead of Powell for now. Ben Knight is right behind Powell and ready to pounce as they race onto the boot. Side by side, Knight and Powell mob De Toy. Into the boot, and Powell tries again, but De Toy holds firm and stays ahead. Knight slips in behind Powell. The Class L battle heads into Castle Corner, with inches separating the cars as they fight it out for second place in Class L. Coming into the boot, and Connor Jones has worked his way ahead of Glenn Clark, but he loses it all by himself and spins off into the kitty litter. Clark passes him, as do Hewitt and Woolley. Jones will be upset with himself for making that mistake after he had worked his way up so nicely. It's the same spot where Willy Lochman went off. Maybe there's some oil on the track. The Class L battle makes their way into the final corner. Juan de Toy leads the way. Bet Knight and Johan Powell side by side with nothing between them. Powell's exhaust is dragging on the floor. No doubt this will be causing a bit of concern. Coming up to the Uncinis, and Ben Knight has pulled alongside Johan Powell and is pushing hard, looking for a way past. Into Uncini 1, and Powell stays ahead of Knight. The checkered flag is out, and Rob Gearing takes the victory. Jeff Gable will come through to take second place. Etienne Stradom managed to keep Glenn Clark at bay and holds on to take third place. Into the final bend, and the battle for second place in Class L is still being hotly contested, with Juan de Toy managing to stay ahead of Johan Powell as they race for the line. There were some great battles throughout the field, but it was Rob Gearing who took a rather comfortable victory ahead of Jeff Gable. Andre Duplessis won Class L, and Mark Futcher Class C.
Well, I had a very good start. Jeff Gable seemed to fluff it on the start and gave me the whole shot that I needed to get right in behind Glenn and Rob. But by turn 2, Sean Hewitt was mobbing us, and Connor was sniffing to my left to try and get past as well. And from there, it was just mayhem down the back straight. As soon as we hit the headwind, it was a free-for-all.
A bit of a disappointing start, but that's racing. So we go back to the drawing board and look again what we've done wrong. So as soon as we hit the headwind at the back, it was just slipstreaming was very important. And if you weren't tucked up right underneath someone's bumper, you would just It's like a sail in the wind, that's all.
Was a bit of an interesting race. Got a good start off the line, got up to third by turn 1. And then, yeah, sort of pretty much hanged there for a few laps. So we came down into the back corner. Connor was up on my inside. I was catching Glenn nicely. And I thought I wasn't prepared to let Connor pass me. So I kept my foot in it, drifted a little bit wide onto the marbles, and yeah, it was game over from there. Drifted out onto the sand, got up, hit a mound, took a little bit of air, came back down, hit the second last corner sideways, got back on the tarmac, and yeah, 2 places down. Fortunately, Connor spun coming out of the boot, so that gave me 1 more place back. So yeah, it wasn't too bad.
I got quite a good start. Got behind Etienne, had Jeff behind me, trying to pass me as much as he could, but when we got to the sweep at the back straight, he pushed me out wide, so I had no choice but to let him pass me. Then slipstreamed all the way down the back straight, stayed with him. Then Sean fluffed it in the one corner, and then I got behind Glenn, stayed with Glenn for a while, got past Glenn, and then I fluffed it in the bowl, and yeah, and I think I came 6th behind Sean.
And it was an amazing battle between the 3 of us. Obviously, Andre pulled away from us once again on the start. Johan had a close call on the start where Tim Clamp actually didn't leave enough space, so he had 2 wheels on the grass. But we got through the first lap, and from there, the 3 of us just had a ding-dong battle. Then Ben was in front, then Paul was in front, then it was me, and it was just a cat-and-mouse game until the last lap where I was lucky enough to come out and in front.
Well, quite exciting as well. You know, we had a good battle. It was all fair. We all gave each other space. It was so it's unlucky we didn't get a 2nd place. But yeah, there's another race to come, so we'll see what happens. My exhaust also fell off. So my exhaust fell off, and I did 5 laps with the thing going next to me, clink. So it was quite exciting.
Oh, no, it was a great race. Lots of back and forth. There were some definite moments. And the exhaust was certainly interesting because I heard the tink, 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 and I wasn't sure if it was my car. So I was looking over mine to see if my exhaust was out there. And then I saw it was his and realized, when is this going to come off and hit me in the head? So it had a few moments. I'm sure that's why I didn't come 2nd.
Quick question. When did the tradition of spraying a bottle of champagne on the winner's podium after a race begin? Find out after the break.
Join us after the break for more exciting action from the Seibad Lotus Challenge.